Hey, everybody. So I'm here with three of my great real estate buddies and our real estate success team. And we like to call it a success team. We don't like to call it revenue share. We don't like to call it recruiting. We call it a success team. And we like to look at it as a success team because one, we all have some goals that we're trying to achieve and be successful, of course. Two, I think all four of us, myself included, have made it a priority to not only grow our own personal businesses, but we've made it a priority to really assist families. So I've got two people on here that are as old as I am, as far as their real estate days, and that's my man Rodney Johnson. For those of you guys that don't know Rodney and I have been friends forever. But I tease Rodney because Rodney, not only is he a great real estate person, but Rodney, man, he knows everybody. He used to be one of the gateway to the stars people. I think Rodney hit me up one day and asked me, did I know DJ Mustard? And I was like, who the heck is DJ Mustard? Then I found out later that Rodney just kind of sold somebody a Grammy winning, this, that. My son went all crazy. Yeah, we know. I was like, wow, okay. So, then the next breath, Rodney would tell me, hey, I'm going to talk to Smokey Robinson or something. So, that's my guy. I was laughing as Chris Eros and Chris and I have been in, and Chris also been in business like for, as long as I have and as long as Rodney has. And Chris, along with all the other guys on here, are also mentors here at eXp. But I remember Chris, one of my biggest days is he was a big time prospector, because when we started, we started in the door knocking and cold calling era, and I'd bump into Chris on expired situations or FISBOs, and I'm like, dude, I keep running into you at these places. And then we started working at the same company and became pretty good friends. And we got him aboard eXp a minute. So, Chris, thank you for being on for a second. And we got a young superstar here, and that's Mr. Michael. My man Michael, and I brag about Michael, and unfortunately he doesn't get mad about me bragging about it. But the reason I brag is because Michael and I were at another company together, and he was newer, very, very new, and you could just see the potential in this guy. He was hardworking, he was learning, he was helpful, but to be very honest, he was getting like 100% no support. He was getting no support. And when Pilar and I moved over to eXp, Michael, he pretty much immediately took a leap of faith and came over with us. He took a leap of faith. I mean, we were not great friends or anything yet. We had a relationship that we were working on. And I guess what I'm excited about is that, you get it from someone that started and was not getting any support to now has become a leader here within our team that is doing some fantastic real estate business, and it's exciting to me. So, Michael, I appreciate you being on this call with us. I want to ask each of you one question, though. So tell me, and Rodney, I'll start with you if you don't mind. What was it initially, beside me bugging the crap out of you? What was it initially that caught your eye and had really made the jump to eXp? Because you had shares and ownership and some other stuff at the other company you were at previously. What actually got, and not to mention, people think I'm joking about this, you're as an extremely widely successful agent for years. I think you had a couple of decades of being the #1 agent over there. What actually was it that you saw that made you make that move?
Well, first off, I have to confess, when you sent me a video, I pawned it off on my son and I said, here, watch this. And he got about halfway through it and he says, Dad, we're doing this. I thought, okay, I better watch this and see. And I saw all the different ways that you could make money. One of the things is that I saw immediately, like the year before, I had paid, I'll just say the name. I had paid Berkshire Hathaway Home Services franchise fee of $15,000, and I had paid our office $80,000. And didn't get one dime of profit sharing out of it. And yet, had I been with eXp, I would have gotten my $16,000 cap back, and in interest. I mean, the stock ownership, $16,000 worth of stock, which Lord knows how much would be worth today, a lot. So that was kind of it for me. It was just like, gosh, I'm leaving so much money on the table here. And then I was really interested in the revenue share aspect of it, but it was once I got in, it was the stock ownership that just went, whoa, and whereby I had paid $42,000 to become a 1/3 owner of our office, and not a dime of profit sharing. I paid the first year $11,000 at a 10% discount, and that's now worth over $100,000. So, it was just a no-brainer.
That's incredible. What, it's funny because I'm amazed at how other agents don't see. I wondered if they flunk math. I don't understand how they don't see, don't, not to get caught up in whatever else. At the end of the day, it's a math equation. So, Chris, now but I couldn't bug Chris the same way, because you have to kind of slightly nudge Chris. You can't like push him. You just kind of just a little nudge here and there. So I nudged him for a minute. Chris, what nudge did I give you where you eventually said, you were in? And I want to tell everybody, it's a task to get Chris to talk on a Zoom. So this is like, I want you to know, this is like earth-shattering and record-breaking stuff that we're going to get him to have a conversation with us. Chris, tell me what actually got you over the top.
When we met at Starbucks, even though I don't drink coffee, we met at Starbucks and we had that chat. I hadn't seen you for a while.
Right.
And you explained to me how eXp works. At the time, I had my own little company. So I wasn't really too interested in looking elsewhere, especially when I got to keep 100% of what I made. And to do the sharing with a real estate company, I wasn't too inclined. But the stocks, it really was the stocks. I like to play around with stocks, and eXp had the stock options, and that's what kind of sold me.
Okay, that's good. So, Michael, I'm gonna ask you the same question, because you came and jumped in, and you just kind of followed me.
Yes.
But besides my fantastic personality, I'm sure there was something else that you saw as an opportunity. What was it that kind of maybe just kicked you over the top?
Well, yeah. So when you told me you were coming, to eXp, and you mentioned it to me, I said, well, let me look into this a little bit. So I went online, I looked, and I saw the stocks, I saw the rev share, and I saw that. And for me, it was a little different. Being at the company we were with for 3 years, and they had promised us for the last 2 years, we have this new technology coming out. You're going to have this new technology. And it was supposed to come out 2 years ago, and I'd been waiting for it. And I was looked over and I said, well, this has the technology that that they'd been saying that they were going to have for a couple of years. So all the other stuff I thought was great, but I'm like, they are where this company says they're going. And if they're already there, then they're going to be that much further ahead when they make their next step. So when the company we were at was going to come and finally get that technology, this company was going to be 3 more steps ahead. So to me, that was big, and then everything else just kind of falls into place afterwards. But it was that, and then knowing that knowing you as well, like I said, and knowing the kind of person and building relationships, because you were one of the only people that I did have a little support as we were growing back then. So.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. So let me ask you this, Michael, as a follow-up to that. Since you've been here at eXp, what, if anything, may have exceeded what you were expecting it to be? Like, is there anything that you looked at and you thought like, this is going to be pretty cool or whatever, but something that you're like, whoa, this is like huge after you got here? Or was it just the technology? Was the technology better than what you were anticipating it to be? Is there anything that stands out about that?
Well, I mean, it was really everything kind of came together, and it's all been amazing. I mean, with the rev share has been great. The stocks, I mean, went from my wife being like, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to retire this or that, to saying, you know what, let's start planning. Let's start planning our retirement. You know, and I'm like, well, hey, that's a ways off, but she's already started looking towards things like that because she sees the potential. So that, but really the support. Like you said before, when I first started at the other company and I was there working hard, I mean, I'd come in and they had their group desks or open desks and everything, and I would be in the office, the only one there. There's nobody around, so I was like, well, what do you need an office for anyways? But kind of career planning. You know, I would tell the team leader and the broker, hey, this is kind of my goals. This is where I want to be. And they say, okay, well, keep working hard and you can get there. But here, I've been able to connect with people, find a way to push me to take classes, have support, and people kind of guide me to where I want to be, but also tell me, hey, take the leap. You know, if you want to be a leader, you know, if you want to teach and grow and be here, you need to start teaching and growing and helping other people as well. So they gave me, you know, I've gotten the support to do that, and also the push to, you know, hey, if you want to grow, you've got to, you know, get in uncomfortable situations, but having kind of a path that helped guide me, that was been really big here, that I wasn't getting at any other place. So
Wow, that's a testimony. That's pretty cool. Rodney, man,
Yes.
same question to you, especially since, I mean, you have had such an established business and a great database and referral systems. You have, I mean, you have all of these things already, and you and I talk all the time. So I'm talking like if we don't. When since you've been here and started to experience more things, I know initially, you know, you selling houses and then you kind of put a lot of it on RJ. RJ is Rodney's son that does a lot of his technology stuff. But what I have noticed over the last 6 months or so, I get more conversation about some of these things with you than I do RJ. So tell me, now that you've gotten here, one, what has maybe exceeded it for you? But the other thing I would like to know, like with you and I have been around about the same length of time or so, is how has it felt now to be, for some of this stuff to become maybe a little bit more easier with some of the technology? Because you and I didn't have technology. You know, we started
Right.
with
Yeah.
sheets and real lock boxes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my son was so frustrated at our previous company because he wanted everything to be in the cloud. You know, it's like we're printing up, you know, hundreds of pieces of paper on every transaction, and it's useless and stuff. And so he was very much, you know, so excited when we got here and everything's in the cloud. We got SkySlope, and you know, it just made his life a whole lot easier, and mine too as well. And so we liked that a lot. One of the things that I really like is that the just the camaraderie and being around other people, like with you, with Nate Butcher, and also one of the things that I'm doing is I'm mentoring now new agents coming into the EXP program, and to see them succeed and to see them, you know, close their first 3 deals, and all of that's very rewarding to me emotionally as well. But I think like last week, Nate had a class where he was talking about you know, how to increase your business without buying leads, and I took notes on that, and I'm still using that, you know, and so that's one of the things that I really like about it. Even though we don't have an office where we can all meet up, we actually do. We have a virtual office, and like here we are. So I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's great. So, Mr. Arrow, sir, um, with you coming over now that you've gotten more settled in, and I know we were talking a week or so ago, and you were saying that you finally felt comfortable enough where you even began to kind of agent attract a little bit. You're kind of spreading the EXP world. You even bought a couple of pom-poms and you actually were like, hey, this is pretty good. Let me ask you, what was it that kind of switched that light bulb on to you to where not only are that you're here, but what is it that made you feel so comfortable now that you want to that you want to share that story?
It's a test of time. I got to see, well, I'm here at eXp now for about 3 years, I guess. I got to see the inner workings of eXp, the support we get, the technology is fantastic. And I just needed to prove to myself that this was a company that I would be willing to invite other agents in. So I've been here now, like I said, about 3 years, and I don't ever see myself leaving eXp. So it's just, the technology is great, the people are great, the support you get is great, different ways to make money is great. So I love it here.
Man, that's fantastic. So I'm gonna stick with you, Chris. I'm gonna stick with you on this. Yeah, one thing that you mentioned earlier, and I don't want to get away from as we share this with some other people, is that you were running your own shop. Pretty much had your own small, Chris Arrow's brokerage. You're pretty much just doing your own thing, and I kind of pulled out of some things, and it was just you. Now that you are here and moving forward, have you found it to be a little bit more cost effective to run your business out of eXp?
I think in the long run, yeah. Of course, when I had my own company, I didn't have to share my commissions with anybody. But once you cap out, you're basically back at 100% anyway. So I look at capping out kind of as my challenge to get there as quickly as possible, and then get on the 100% and have the support and really the technology and the stock options. I mean, yeah, I just love it here.
Right, I got you. So Rodney, I'm gonna ask you that too. So now when you were, because I know you've been up and down with larger teams, that you've had in the past too. And now operating your business here at eXp, I know that your revenue has obviously increased. Have you also been able to lower your expenses, your monthly expenses, as far as operating your business?
A lot.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So that's been great too. I mean, last year when the pandemic hit, I had 2 really large deals that one of them would have paid me $125,000, and the other one would have been even more than that. And it canceled the day before we were to sign loan documents due to COVID and stuff. But yet, because we had these other things in place, we didn't have to go into debt or anything else and stuff. So it was good. Yeah.
So Michael, my man, so now that you are capping, and I like to keep bragging on Michael about him capping. And how long did it take you to cap, Michael? How long was it?
2 months.
2 months. So
2
Michael
months.
has 10 months that he's going to be on 100% commission. And
nice.
Again, this is a newer agent that has just been grinding and learning and succeeding, which I think is cool. So now that you are at the point now to where your revenue and your income obviously has increased, do you find it where you're able to operate your business at a pretty cost-effective level?
Yes, definitely. So the good thing, I mean, with everything, obviously, having my business go, with the revenue share and some of the other stuff, I kind of I'm able to say, hey, I can be a realtor for nothing, basically. So any things that have come in, it doesn't cost me anything because I've gotten something from rev share. So my my MLS, my board, my monthly dues or anything like that, everything's free, even some advertising, so if I can do all this stuff and it's not costing me anything because I got another stream of income coming in, it takes off any worry. You know, when we first start, I was, you know, when you go into a house or you're talking to somebody and you're eager because, you know, you need it, you're a little bit desperate, it comes up and you can't work as well. So with some of these things covered, obviously it makes it a lot better, and I'm able to run my business a lot more cost effectively and plan, like I said before, you can see the paths because you have the revenue to support it and grow.
That's fantastic. One thing that I'll chip in for myself that I was talking to another group, and it just kind of dawned. I don't know why, but it just dawned on me because now, as you guys know, with the way our stocks are set up, is that obviously we can participate in the plan, and 5% of our GCI can go back into helping with stocks, with the company, and all of that. But also we have for different things that we do, from when we cap to our first transaction each year, to, of course, if you help bring anybody into the company, all that, the company gives us certain stocks, or awards us, I should say, certain stocks, and we have to hold them for 3 years, the vesting. Well, now that I'm 3 years in, right, all of a sudden, like this thing just happened. This just happened last month. So we got an additional, my wife and I, we got an additional 450 shares.
Whoa.
That were awarded to us. Now, here's the funny part, though. The funny part is that it showed that those 450 shares the company initially purchased for us were at $18 a share. Now, as of at least the time of this recording, we're back up to around $50 a share. But two things happened with that. The first one is that it was $18 a share at what they were purchased at, but because our stock had split, that's why we got 450 shares instead of 225. But I don't know why this didn't dawn on me. Maybe you guys have thought of this. It didn't. What really dawned on me was that I didn't pay anything. I mean, I didn't pay anything.
Right.
I didn't pay $18 or something a share, or whatever it was. The company paid that. All I had to do was to continue to do what we've been doing all the time, and all of us do, help our families and help families and all the other good stuff that we do. But all of a sudden, it's like what they say now. I got an airdrop. I have 450 shares that I could now write a check for if I wanted to, that I did not have to put money into initially. I'm putting money into it. And I don't know. That's something that I'm starting to feel like I want to shout from the rooftops,
Yeah.
Because I mean, in my previous company, I think today or tomorrow or whatever is their revenue share day, and I'm vested there. So I'm expecting to get, I'm hoping to get enough where I can buy a whole thing of coffee beans that I can use here at home. Sometimes I don't get that much because I like Starbucks. So I'm hoping to be able to do that. So to have a company, I mean, just gift me 450 shares at one time. And so then I started to pay attention to, like, now that we're in, that it's been 3 years, almost every month now that I could see, they had it up to like February or March, there is stocks that are now coming mature that we never paid for, and some of them are as low as $5.
Okay.
That was, and it's like, it's almost like magic. It's like I pinch myself. I'm thinking, okay, this is going to end soon. There's something wrong with this. This isn't true. This can't keep happening. But oh my gosh, it keeps happening. It keeps happening. So it's incredibly encouraging. Hey, I know all of us, and I'll let anybody that wants to step up and talk about. We mentioned rev share, and there's I don't think there's any of us on this call currently that are making like the Brent Gold, Jay Kinder type of $500,000-$600,000 a month, things like that. I think that we're all in categories that are maybe a little bit more practical, probably practical for some of the people that'll be listening to our call. at least I know for myself, it's been an incredible feeling to just get anything. You know, of course, I'm blessed. I get more than anything, but to get anything that I wasn't expecting, that I didn't do anything but talking to people. I'm talking to my friends right now. To have something come in, and hey, you know what? You know what my car notes do? I think I'll pay it from this because I don't want to use my money. How do you guys starting to feel knowing of where this can go for you? And Michael, I'll start with you this time, especially because I have to share. Michael had gotten I think, what was Michael's first revenue share check? I mean, I don't know, it was $5 or $10. I mean, but Michael called me like through the roof, excited because, because you know it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, you know, it wasn't what you got, it was that you got something, and it works. Now, obviously, he's doing a lot more than that right now. But I mean, so tell me, how is it feeling for you to get something, but also where it's going for you?
Well, I mean, it's incredible. And by the way, it's $1.33.
Oh,
$1.33.
sound like
And
my
the funny,
profit share.
well, that's the funny thing because I told you that, and you told me that's more than my profit share this month.
It was.
So, so, but no, it's been incredible, to have that come in, like you said, for just doing what I do, talking about, the company, introducing to people, and just, you know, basically that's it. And then supporting people as I have, but having that to start to come regularly where I can almost count on it. It's not, nothing's guaranteed or anything like that, but where I can consistently coming in, where I can say, hey, over the last year, every month there's been something on the 18th coming into my account. Um, and then, like I said earlier, I'm gonna, I can plan. Hey, I can put that towards if I'm gonna do any marketing, if I'm gonna do any. So I started basing my business on this. They're saying, this is coming consistency. So my goal is this. Now, the next goal for me is if I can raise it up, if I grow, um, to have another goal. Like maybe he says, "Oh, I want to cover my car note." We put our kids in a private school, so the big goal is to get rev share to cover private school and everything.
That's right.
But you know, I'm not doing anything different. I'm not out there beating the doors, like you said. And I think for me, it's been great because I've seen the Brett goes. I've seen, some of these people that are pulling in all this, hey, I'm getting $500,000 a month and everything. And for me, I'm like, hey, I can connect to somebody who, is newer, and you're not, you're not necessarily gonna blow up into everything, and you probably won't. But if you put the time in and effort in, and you do what you do, it's agent attraction. You're not out there beating people over the head and said, "Come join this company." You're saying, "Look at me, I'm doing a good job, and if you want to be anything like me or work with me, I'd love to." And that's where people come and are attracted to work with people like you. Like people like to work with like people. So, and because of that, it just grows. And when I look at revenue share and everything, I see it and I share it with my wife, and I say, what's great is I see this here, but it's never going to be here again, really. And I think, obviously, as I put the effort in and grow, and I see growth in myself and the company and everything, as I say, this is consistent, but this is really the lowest we're going to have. So when we're looking back 10 years, 5 years from now, we're going to say, oh, yeah, do you remember when it was there? Because now we're doing this, and the kids' school is paid for and all that stuff. And that's, so it's exciting, but it's also nice that I can kind of think and plan and direct it and use it to grow my business as well for just doing my business regularly.
So before I jump over to Rodney with that question, so Chris, I know that you kind of pretty much just started is in the agent attraction part of it. Is there certain things now that you feel real comfortable with eXp that excites you about that opportunity?
Yeah, when I see money in my bank statement that I wasn't expecting, I'm like, oh, hey, kid, this is pretty cool. Right. So yeah, it does get you a little fired up, and it's like, oh, right. Okay, this does work. So yeah.
So Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna load you up on that question because I know you're out talking to teams and brokerages and some quote unquote what we say are big time agents. So I know what your commitment is to growing your success team as well. But get an idea of now as you're getting into it and you're growing, and you're starting to get some things going in. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it and where it's going?
And where it's going. One of the things, Elgin, you and I several years ago, while I was still with the other company, we would text each other in the mornings and just kind of do affirmations and stuff like that. And I have started doing affirmations around agent attraction. And here's what it is that, and I put it in the form of a command. Now it's not a command to override anybody's will, but it's a command to put it out there. And the command is, I command agents who are ready to make a change now to come into my awareness. And all of a sudden, people are coming into my awareness. I called one young guy that I'd been emailing him for at least a year, more than a year. And I called him about an old listing of his. And then he says, now you're with eXp, right? And he says, tell me about that, and he was ready to make a change. And the last 3 people that I've talked to, they have been ready to make a change. So I'm just putting it out there that I'm commanding agents who are ready and to make a change now to come into my awareness. And then I can share with them, what we've got. You thankfully met with me and my friend Bryce, and we're still working with him. I believe he's going to join us, but there's just a lot of good support around that. So thank you for that. Also, one other thing I want to say is that I talked to a friend of mine from years ago. We were in a mastermind group together around the Tom Ferry. We were being coached with Tom Ferry's group, and we were in a mastermind. And so I called him and found out he was with eXp, and he had switched over from the same company that you were with, Elgin. And he said that for people with teams, it makes so much more sense to be with eXp. A, because the cap is lower, and B, because now of the revenue share. So whatever your split is with your team member, you can still have that same split, but you're also getting paid on the revenue share side as well. So your team player gets a raise, and you get a raise too because of the revenue share.
Absolutely, I agree. So, yes, and I know all you guys. I'm not looking, Rodney, he's driving and talking. I know all of you guys are really busy, and I appreciate you guys taking the moment. I just kind of wanted to wrap it up with each of you. If there's anything that you could reach out and tell someone that will listen to our conversation, and say they're on the fence a little bit. And the time of the year that we're in right now tends to be the time of the year that people really tend to write their business plans and look at make moves and all of that. What would you tell someone that may be on the fence about coming to eXp that they should know and look into to make a decision to come? And I'll let anybody that wants to start it, but I'm gonna hit all 3 of y'all.
Okay, all right, I'll go first. So there's a country song. It's an old country song. It says, I was country before country was cool. Well, eXp was in the cloud before being in the cloud was cool. and last year, everyone had to get into the cloud because of the pandemic. And so, I would say to them, you don't need a brick and mortar building. Now, I have rented space. I'm currently renting space right now, but it's very inexpensive. But I still do a lot of work out of my home too. So, but you don't have to have that brick and mortar building.
Thanks, Rodney. Hey, Chris, I'm gonna because I know you wasn't gonna say nothing, so I'm gonna step up to you. I'm just teasing you, obviously. What would you? But what you're talking to somebody, man. Maybe somebody from the old days, even that we know of, whomever, and they're on the fence, and what would you tell them that they should really look at to consider making making eXp an option for their business?
Set aside an hour and sit with somebody from eXp who knows what eXp is about, and let them explain the benefits of eXp to you.
That's a good one. That's pretty good. All right, Chris. I like that, man. I like that. Michael, what about yourself?
Yes, mine goes along with Chris's. I'd say, you know, so many people have heard so many things from everybody, and they think they're an expert about EXP when they haven't talked to somebody even from EXP. So, like Chris said, talk to somebody or do some honest research with EXP to find out what you're really what what's truth and what's fact or fiction, um, and then sit down, find out. There's so many people here. Find out, you know, the collaboration. Find out how helpful people can be, and if you do that, um, you're just gonna be amazed at how willing people are to help you out and what what's really going on and what falsehoods you might have heard or assumed. I heard the other day somebody thought if we're in a cloud, oh, there's a cloud, there's no office, or that EXP was a whole different model than any other real estate company, meaning that we don't buy and sell houses the same way. The agents still do what agents do. We're still agents. We still help people buy and sell houses. It's just the way the company is run, being a cloud-based company. As far as that's different, and that's so hard to somebody to understand sometimes.
Well, those are the three excellent points of views and answers. I'll close out with mine. And my one thing that I would tell people that are serious about it is, I find the majority of people in our business, I'm sure you guys will possibly agree, that they don't really look at our business as that. They don't even call it a business. They don't call themselves business people. They don't run their business minded. So then they don't think about a business from a long term. And I know that for myself, and Michael's newer to the business, but Rodney and Chris, I mean, we've been around a long time. And I can't speak for Rodney or Chris, but I can speak for the fact that if Pilar, my wife, and I had not come to eXp, we would not be operating a business in the sense that there's a retirement that's possible, that we're setting up. I mean, how many times have you guys helped a family and they may be making 10, 11 bucks an hour, and they're worried about how they'll qualify, and all of a sudden they'll get this 401k that's got like $300,000 in it, and you're like, Jesus, how did they get that? And for those of us that have not been in a position to do that, we didn't have that. Or now how the company has healthcare. Now how the company, there's so many progressive things about our company that is a business and not just a place to buy and sell real estate. Every company can do that, no matter where you're at. But what support do you get? And I would just tell someone, I said, you know what? Like the old saying goes, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Take a look at your numbers and see if your numbers tell you that you can do the exact same thing with this company than you could with another company, but you can now increase your revenue and decrease your expenses to operate. I don't know. To me, the no-brainer part comes up. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time out, because if no one knows how busy you guys are, I know, and I appreciate it. I hope that our audience that listens to this thing gets some value from it. If you guys have any questions, you can reach out to any of us, myself, Michael, Rodney, or Chris. We'd love to make you a part of our success team and help you achieve whatever success means to you guys. So with that being said, you guys have a fantastic day. And my fellow partners, I'll get you a copy of this here soon.
Hey, very good. Thank you.
Thanks. Good to see you guys. Take care. Take care, Elgin.